Welcome to your second mini project. This one has to do with comparison operators, so I hope you had watched the previous two videos. In this mini project, what I would like you to do is ask the user for a URL, and then check to see if that link starts with HTTP. And if it does not start with HTTP, I want you to fix up that link. So fix up the variable, and then inject that as a link into the page. And so for part number 1, you're going to want to use prompt. For part number 2, you're going to want to use substring. Part number 3 is you're going to want to use an if, maybe an if-else statement or statements. And then part number 4, you're going to want to grab an HTML element node and change the inner HTML to have more HTML inside of it. I'm going to do this project right in front of you as well in the same video, but I think it would be best if you could pause the video now and just give it a shot yourself. Get as far as you possibly can. And then, you know what? If you get stuck, just resume the video and you can watch exactly how I end up doing it. So go ahead, click pause, give it a shot, and I'll see you in just a couple of minutes when you hit resume. Okay, so the first step was we needed to ask the user for input. So let's create a script in here where we put our JavaScript, and let's say var URL is equal to prompt. Enter a URL, whatever that's going to be. And so we'll just do this piece by piece here. I'll refresh, enter a URL, and I could do coding for everybody.com. Does nothing, as expected. So we just have a URL in a variable, but we haven't actually done anything with it. Let's go ahead and move on to step number 2. Let's see if it starts with HTTP or if it does not start with HTTP. So we can say if URL.substring 04, so starts at character 0, which is 1 in computer language, go up to the 4th character, is equal to HTTP, then it's good. And we can console log that. We can say console.log, the URL is good. Otherwise, we need to fix it. So console.warn and say bad URL, bad URL. Let's go ahead and give this a shot. So I go ahead again and I type coding for everybody.com. And it's not console.warm. If you were screaming at the screen, yeah, that's a good call. It's warn, fun fact. Coding for everybody.com. Let's try this again. And it says bad URL. What if I refresh the page and say http:// coding for everybody.com. And it says the URL is good. Okay, so we have a working if-else statement in here. So if the URL is good, we don't really need to do anything, but if the URL is bad, we need to fix it. So let's go ahead and fix this URL. We're now going to fix it by saying the URL is equal to http:// and then we're just going to concatenate the rest of the URL. And we can get rid of these console logs if we wanted to. They're not really doing anything. And the last step was we need to select an HTML element by its ID and change the inner HTML to have a link in it. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's create a paragraph. And let's say this is the link. And let's just create an empty span in here. Let's call it link. There's not going to be anything in there. So when we refresh the page, we hit cancel, it just says, this is the link. And we can actually see that it even has an uncaught type error, cannot read property, substring of null because there's nothing in there. That's what happens when we click cancel. At this point, we should have somewhat of a working URL, assuming you actually type something in there. And then we just need to put it in here. So let's grab that node. Let's do var link node is equal to, or I guess it's a span node. So span node is equal to document.get element by ID and just call it link. And let's go ahead and put span node dot inner HTML is equal to the URL. So we're almost there. Let's go ahead and say coding for everybody.com. It fixed it for me. Cool. But ultimately, that's not quite what we're looking for. We actually want this to be a link to codingforeverybody.com. So we need to put this into some HTML. And this is where string concatenation comes in. So we could do this a couple different ways. We could say all of it in one line, ahref is equal to, and then closing, and then we could go in there and we could say concatenate this. And we could put the URL in here, and then we could also concatenate in here with the URL. And so this will work. codingforeverybody.com. And when I click it, and you can actually see it says codingforeverybody.com, boom, loads the site. That's pretty nice. Or if you wanted to write some slightly cleaner code, we could also just say HTML. We'll create a new variable called HTML. And this way we have our HTML in a new line and it just doesn't look as crowded. So we can do the same thing here. We could say google.com and it'll take us to http google.com. Now there's actually a shortcut. We currently have an empty if statement. So like, why even write that? So what we could say is we could skip this whole thing. So let's get rid of the else statement and we could say if it's not. So to compare something to make sure that it is true, you say two equal signs. To say something is not true, or not the same rather, you say exclamation mark equal sign, and that says not the same. So let's just zoom in, and it looks like this. Not the same. And so what we're saying here is if the URL, the first 4 characters, is not HTTP, I'll make sure it is HTTP. And then we got rid of that else statement. So now we're saying basically, if it doesn't start with HTTP, it needs to, so overwrite the URL. Let's give this a shot. Let's go in here, refresh. Last time, what site do we want to go to? Let's go to facebook.com, and bam, that works. What if we already put HTTP in there? You know, copy and paste a URL that's already in there. HTTP youtube.com. It's also working, so it's all good. This is working perfectly fine. And so that is the entire mini project. And so what we used is prompt. We used an if statement. Actually, we used an else statement technically, and then we sort of combined that into one line. We'll talk more about this a little bit later. You didn't have to know that one off the top of your head. Then we grabbed our span and then we injected HTML into it. Furthermore, we could actually do this. We could check to see too. If someone hits cancel, what is that URL? Well, that URL is equal to null, type of URL, is an object. And so we know that this is going to be some sort of data type. And actually you might not know that, and that's okay. You don't really need to know that. What I'm going to do is show you something pretty cool in my opinion. So we could say, if the URL is equal to null, alert, cancel this quickly, because we don't want it to execute. So let's go ahead, cancel this quickly because we don't want it to execute. And so we could actually say, if the URL is equal to null, then cancel this, else, and then we can wrap everything else in that else statement. And so now we're saying, if basically no one has clicked cancel, we're good. But if someone has clicked cancel, we're gonna say alert this, we're gonna say cancel this quickly. In fact, actually what we could do is we could do absolutely nothing. Or we could do console.error, missing input. Otherwise, if someone did put something in there, we could then do an if statement in here, and then we could do the rest of our logic. And so let's go ahead, give us a shot, hit cancel. Missing input, just the way we expected it to. So there you go, that is your mini project number 2. I did a bunch of stuff in here that I did not expect you to know. For instance, if URL is equal to null, yeah, I sort of just pulled that out of a hat. You didn't know about that one yet. The if not statement, you didn't know about that one yet either. That's okay. We're learning things together at the same time. We're going to go over all these things a little bit later down the road too. And I like to sort of just drop in some of these, I call them golden nuggets, just these little hints of slightly more advanced things inside of code that already makes sense. So you're constantly pushing yourself, but you're not pushing yourself too hard.